afternoon and welcome into the Hayden Coker Show. This is the Hayden Coker talking to you live. I'm so happy and I'm so blessed to have everybody joining in tonight. This is the Hayden Coker Show brought to you by J&K Tire in Still, Alabama. You can go down to J&K Tire and get $10 off of your next purchase if you mention the code Hayden Coker Show. Just mention the Hayden Coker Show. You can get $10 off of your next purchase. Guys, what a doggone weekend that we have just had of college football, man. And I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about my top 25, breaking it down, because that top 25 was horrendous compared to some people. And if you ask some people, you might never want to see that top 25 again because it was absolutely horrible. Because it was. Let's just own it. It was horrible. Now, Bama and Georgia, check that. Bama, Georgia, and Auburn won huge this past weekend, all with huge wins. Arkansas, God, what happened? Sam Pittman is more than likely going to be out of a job by the end of the year. You had Alabama with a huge win over Kentucky, and it wasn't just a score. It wasn't just Kentucky. It was how they won it and how Jalen Milroe played. Jalen Milroe played absolutely fantastic, and anybody with eyes can see that, and anybody with eyes knows that, hey, he's going to be in the Heisman conversation by the end of the year because he's playing some fantastic football right now, and I don't know if anybody can stop him. You've got Auburn at the end of the year. Their defense is playing fantastic right now. If they can get some stuff going on the defensive side of the ball, Keldrick Falk is getting it good. He's playing fantastic right now. Anyways, I will get to that at the end of not the end of the show, but later on in the show. We have Michigan stifled Penn State this past weekend, and buddy, they played good when they did it. It offensively didn't look great. J.J. McCarthy, I think, threw like 8 passes for a total of 60 yards. But when you run the ball like Michigan did, you run the ball for over 200 yards, you don't need to throw the football. So Michigan played a really good game against Penn State. Would like to see more from you offensively, but when you don't have your offensive play caller, that is also a little bit of an issue. Ladies and gentlemen, Jim Harbaugh is suspended, and he's not going to be on the sideline for the rest of the year. Now, when I talk about Jim Harbaugh, the first thing that comes to my mind is, hey, you know what? This guy's a pretty decent coach. Well, now guess what? Connor Stallions has absolutely screwed him. And what I mean by that is Connor Stallions, we'll say I'm not sure if Jim Harbaugh knew about this or not. Either way, it's going to fall on the head coach. So that is on Jim Harbaugh for sure. But Connor Stallions has absolutely ruined what everybody thought that this Michigan team would be. This is a fantastic team. I'm not going to sit here and degrade them. But if you look at what Connor Stallions has done and you look at what everybody has been saying so far, guys, this is absolutely terrible. Connor Stallions is out of a job, is probably never going to work in college football again because of his, as some say, his dirty doings. But here's what I think. Of course he cheated. Get Connor Stallions out of there, whatever you want to call it. He's got to go. Jim Harbaugh, I don't necessarily think that he is – I can't blame Harbaugh because I don't know the nitty-gritty of things. Now, once I know the nitty-gritty of things, of course, we can blame him all you want to. If he's guilty, blame him all you want to. Make him roll over in his grave. But here's the thing. I don't know much. The investigation is not complete, and it's not going to be complete for a while, okay? Let's just be completely honest. The NCAA has a very, very, very bad way of doing things. You look at what happened back in 2020 and COVID. They are still investigating into stuff that happened back in 20 or not still investigating, but it took them 3 years to make a decision on that. And you talk about what Harbaugh went through or what Harbaugh did over the past few years. I think it was a cheeseburger that he bought for a recruit, and then he gets popped for the NCAA for violations. Like what? I just don't understand that. So everybody knows here, I'm not a firm believer of the NCAA. I'm a firm believer in the Hayden Coker Show Top 25, which we're going to get into here in a minute. And I think that it's correct. Now, some people don't think it's correct. Some people think it's horrible. I agree with them. It's horrible. But you know what? I agree with it. Maybe I agree with horrible things. You know what? Well, I'll just stop that there. Anyways, guys, this past weekend was crazy. We had college football coaches fired. We had Zach Arnett fired. We had Jimbo Fisher fired. I think what happened was that Zach Arnett, this was a game. This was the game that people saw or this was a game that Texas A&M and Mississippi State saw. They said, hey, whoever wins this game gets to fire their head coach first. Well, guess what? Jimbo Fisher was fired first, and Texas A&M won the game. That's what happened. And Mississippi State, Zach Arnett, he was fired second. And first season, Zach Arnett, I get it. The players loved him. The coaches loved him. The people loved him, I'm pretty sure. But when you're not getting it done on the coaching side of things, you're not going to stay. Let's just be honest, okay? Look at Brian Harsin. You had some people that really liked him. But when you're not getting it done on the coaching side of the ball, and especially when you have the boosters trying to drag your name to the dirt, it's just not going to go well. Anyways, who's going to replace them? I will talk about this later, and we will get into it. But I just want to let you guys know that we're going to figure it out. We're going to get down to the bottom of it, and I'm very excited. All right, we've got Mike Elko at Duke. Could it be him? Who knows? We've got Brian Harsin. Brian Harsin, man. Hey, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. Brian Harsin, man. He's your guy. He's your guy. I'm telling you right now. If you're an Auburn fan and you're out there, you're screaming, Brian Harsin, go to the Texas A&M Aggies. But no, if you can't tell my sarcasm, I'm sorry. Something that I like to look forward to over the next few years or over the next few weeks is keep an eye on Jacksonville State's very own Rich Rodriguez, because could you imagine? I'm not saying he gets the A&M job because I don't think he will get the A&M job, but could you imagine Rich Rod coaching for the Mississippi State Cowbells? That's what we're calling them now. Just imagine it. Guys, this show is sponsored to you by J&K Tire and also Tyler Meads at A Mobile Detail. Are you wanting to reset your vehicle to show room condition? Well, Tyler Meads at A Mobile Detail has got you covered with professional grade ceramic coatings, paint enhancements and corrections, and full interior and exterior details. You can call Tyler Meads now at 256-458-9949. That's 256-458-9949, or message AIM Mobile Detail on Facebook. Hey, football fans, if you need a lawnmower, tractor, or an implement, you can go see my friend Alex Farmer at Alabama Tractor in the South's best little town of Asheville, Alabama. Alabama Tractor specializes in Kubota brand machines and equipment, along with other brand items as well. They also have a huge parts and service department to keep your machines up and running year in and year out. You can go see Alex and check out their large inventory and ask about their 0% financing. That's right, 0% financing. Alabama Tractor is located at 275 6th Avenue, Asheville, Alabama. You can reach Alex at 205-594-7000. That's Alex Farmer at 205-594-7000. You can check us out on Facebook at Alabama Tractor Asheville. At Alabama Tractor, you can trust their machines and equipment to work just as hard as you do. And afterward, if you're hungry and it's still breakfast before 10:30 at the Chick-fil-A in Pell City, you can grab a spicy chicken biscuit. Pell City, if you're looking to spice up your morning routine, then you can try the Chick-fil-A Spicy Chicken Biscuit. It's made with real boneless breast of chicken, seasoned with a spicy pepper blend, and served on a freshly baked buttermilk biscuit just for you. Stop by and enjoy a spicy chicken biscuit in the morning at Martin Street, the Chick-fil-A in Pell City on Martin Street. You can do that, guys. If you're hungry, always go do that. And I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed because it is a doggone good biscuit. And I don't even like spicy foods, but guess what? It's a good biscuit. Now, what we're going to have to get into, ladies and gentlemen, because we have had a fantastic – Thomas Phillips, how you doing, buddy? We have had a fantastic week of football, and we have had a top 25 come out over – we have had a top 25 come out over the weekend. You had the AP top 25. You had the ESPN FPI poll, the computer-generated poll. You have the Hayden Coker Show top 25, which is the only one that matters, guys. Let's be honest. It's the only one that matters. Nobody else looks at anything else other than the Hayden Coker Show top 25. Thomas, I would love to read that all right now, but we've got a top 25 to get to. Well, top 10 to get to. I'm going to break down the top 10 for y'all. And I'm going to tell you why I have specific teams where I have them. And if you don't like it, I do apologize. But this is a horrible top 25. Love your content, brother. Keep it up, says Thomas. Hey, I appreciate you, Thomas. I hope you stick around and listen to the top 25 or top 10 explanation. Coming in at number 10, we have none other than the Oregon State Beavers. Keep in mind, head coach Jonathan Smith. We'll talk about him a little bit later. The Oregon State Beavers have had really a good past few weeks. You know, you took a loss earlier in the year, and it's your only loss to a Washington State team that we thought was going to be good. Well, guess what? This Washington State team is 4-6 right now. 4-6. I thought that team was going to be good. Cam Ward has been balling. and will be balling. He'll continue to ball. That team stinks, okay? So that's the first thing that I want to get off my chest, all right? Now, Oregon State, good past few weeks. You have a huge game against this weekend against none other than UW, the Washington Huskies. Now, can they win that game? We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe they do. I'm very excited for it because I may have them in my Coker 4-pack, and we will leave that alone until the third segment. We will come back to it. Coming in number 9, I have the Missouri Tigers. The Missouri Tigers had a huge win this past weekend against the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee Volunteers were having a good year up until then, not like they had last year. You lose Hendon Hooker. I'm sorry, but you're not going to replace him. Like I thought Joe Milton was going to be in the Heisman conversation. I will admit that I was wrong, okay? I was wrong. I take full responsibility. I have terrible picks. Everybody knows that. My predictions suck. But anyways, Missouri comes in at number 9. They are a fantastic football team, if you didn't know that, by the way. You look at what Missouri went into Sanford Stadium was able to do to Georgia, keep it a game, and you lose the game late due to a bonehead move by your quarterback. Obviously, it's a young quarterback move, and he's not that young. This is his 4th or 5th year at Missouri. But if that doesn't happen, you win that game. Coming in number 8, we have Tennessee. Coming in number 8, we have none other than the Texas Longhorns. Now, I have Texas this low, and this is some controversy. Texas has not been playing good over the past few weeks. If you struggle with teams like Houston, for instance, I'm just not going to have them above a team that's playing good right now. Hence why I have Washington over them. Hence why I have Ohio State over them, which I should. But then the controversial one is Alabama. Why do I have Alabama over Texas, considering Texas beat Alabama earlier on in the year? Put Arch Manning in and they'll do good. Hey, man, you know what? I'm thinking about that, and I think no. I don't think that Arch Manning is ready. But I do think that Quinn Ewers has got to step up over the next few weeks. I get that he's coming back from injury, but I think he'll be good in the long run. Woo! Heart's racing a little bit fast today. Houston, you go toe-to-toe against Houston, and Houston takes you down to the wire. I'm sorry. But if you're not playing good and you're barely scraping by these teams that are not good with a losing record, I'm not going to reward you and keep you at the same position. Now, I get it. Strength of schedule. That comes into play. The head-to-head. That comes into play. But how are they doing now? This was week 3 when Texas beat Alabama. Week 2 when Texas beat Alabama. Now, I get it. Alabama struggled early on, okay? But you bounce back. You beat a team like Ole Miss. Hold on. You beat a team like Tennessee. Tennessee not great, but guess what? You beat them in your house. Hold on. You beat a team like LSU, who has one of the best offenses in the country right now. I'm sorry, but I'm going to give you more leeway over a team like Texas when Texas is not playing as well. Now, I get the college football committee is going to disagree with me. The people of the world are going to disagree with me. But guess what? Off of what I'm seeing right now, I have the Texas Longhorns sitting at number 8 behind teams like Alabama that some people think that they should be teams that they think that they should be ahead of for that simple reason. You guys do me a favor and follow Coaching Tip and Head Coach on TikTok. Yes, sir. Thomas, I actually saw that earlier, or not earlier today, but earlier yesterday, I think. And I will get to that as soon as I can, brother. And I actually see your videos on Facebook. You breaking stuff down all the time. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all that you're doing. And I appreciate you for starting a podcast. Everybody go follow Thomas Phillips' podcast. You can see his name in the comments. You can see the podcast name in the comments. But that's why I have Texas at number 8. And if you want to rewind that whenever you can, if you can, I don't know if you can while it's live, but if you want to afterward, you can if you missed it. Coming in at number 7, I have UW. I have the Washington Huskies coming in number 7. And here's my reasoning. I'm not going to reward you for barely beating teams like Stanford and Arizona State. You barely beat a team like Arizona, but Arizona, that is a warranted team. That is a really good football team. If you're not watching the Arizona Wildcats right now, I suggest you turn on the TV and go over to Pac-12 Network and you watch some Arizona Wildcat football. Noah, I'm not going to try to say his last name because I'm going to mess it up. But the quarterback is very, very, very good. And you need to go watch him. You need to go watch the Arizona Wildcats. And on defense, Justin Flo making a little bit of noise on that defensive side of the football. I remember watching him play high school football. Anyways, I'll get back to Washington. Washington, I'm not going to reward you for beating teams barely like a few weeks ago. We'll talk about, like I talked about earlier, I'm not going to reward you for beating teams like that. And it's just that simple. I'm sorry. So that's why I have Washington on the way down. Now, why do you have Oregon at 4, you say? I have Oregon at 4 for this reason and this reason, very, very simply. You took a loss to Washington. Yes, that's going to happen. It's a regular season. Now, shouldn't Washington be favored or ranked ahead of Oregon in the top 10, the Hayden Coker Show top 10 rankings? Should they? No. Shouldn't they, right? Here's my thing. I do not think that rewarding a team and letting them keep their high ranking for barely beating a team like, well, for instance, Arizona State, 15-7. When you should have lost the game, you had a pass interference at the end of the game that really shouldn't have gone your way. But you know what? They don't call it. That's just ridiculous to me. I'm sorry. Now, you do get a few good wins, okay? You beat Utah this past weekend in your big house. You beat them in Washington. Now, let's talk about how Oregon played Utah. How did Oregon play Utah again? Because this is how I remember it. I remember Oregon going into Utah and beating the absolute brakes off of a Utes team that, without their quarterback, doesn't matter. How did they handle it versus how did Washington handle it? Washington almost lost that game. Oregon went into a Utah team's stadium that Utah had not lost in 3 years, in a while. I mean, it's been a while since they've lost, 3 or 4 years, and absolutely spanked them, man. They just went in there and they took care of business. They beat them 35-6, and that is my reasoning. That is my reasoning, my friend, for having Washington at number 8 and Oregon above them. Coming in at number 7, Washington at 7, by the way. Ohio State coming in at number 7. Ohio State, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of Kyle McCord. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm not putting the number 7 because I'm not a fan of the team. I'm sitting there and I'm putting them at number 7 because I do not agree or think that they are playing good. I think that they could play a lot better. You go on the road, or you host a team as Rutgers and you struggle. I'm sorry, I'm not going to reward you for struggling with a sorry football team. I'm just not going to do it. You can sit there and say, "Oh, well, Rutgers is a team that's they're all right. They're all right." Should Ohio State be struggling with Rutgers? Should Ohio State be struggling with Rutgers? No, they shouldn't. I'm sorry. They shouldn't be struggling with a team like Maryland at home. No, they shouldn't. I'm sorry. I can't reward teams. I cannot reward teams for playing poorly against bad teams. I'm just not going to do it. I'm sorry. If you disagree, that's fine. I just don't necessarily think like that. That's why I have Ohio State at number 6. Now, coming in number 5, my top 5, the Hayden Coker Show top 20 or top 5. Here we go. None other than, I'm going to get a little drum roll, please. I hope y'all are clapping behind the screen, doing a little drum roll for me. I have the Alabama Crimson Tide coming in at number 5, and Jalen Milroe is a story. Let me just tell you about Jalen Milroe, guys. He has 10 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns over his past 2 games. Trace McMillan, heck no, not with their roster and the talk they have. I just don't see it. Trace, are you talking about Ohio State? I think that's who you're talking about, but I just want to be sure. Now, Alabama, Rutgers is literally 6-4, a bowl team. So okay, I get it. They're a bowl team. Now, do you want to sit there and tell me that Rutgers is a team that should go in and compete with an Ohio State team that is supposed to be number 1 in the country according to the college football playoff? I just don't necessarily think like that. But that's why I have them number 6, and that's fine. But I have Alabama at number 5. And guys, they're playing out of their minds. They're playing the best football that they've been playing all year. You had earlier on in the year, you had that loss to Texas. Like I said earlier, I have Alabama right here, right at number 5, because I call it recency bias, whatever you want to call it, but I'm not rewarding a team for barely beating teams that should not, like Texas over the past weekend. You had a close win against a TCU team that's not even bowl eligible. So that's just not how I see things. And that's why in Alabama, they're playing the best ball that they've played all year. You look at how Texas is playing right now. They're playing some of the worst ball that they've played all year. That is my reasoning for that. So with that being said, I have Alabama at number 5. And will they go to the college football playoff this year? You can find out a little bit later on. Coming to number 4, I have the Oregon Ducks. This was also a little bit controversial. I have Oregon at number 4, and I just kind of explained it earlier. I'm not rewarding teams off of beating these bad teams, and I'm just not doing it. And that's the thing with Washington. That's why I have Washington lower. You struggle against bad teams, that's just going to happen. That's okay, because guess what? You still have the rest of the season to prove me wrong. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be how the season ends. I'm saying this right now, not 5 weeks ago, not next week, not the end of the season, but right now. This is how I have the teams as played. Now, look at this past weekend. I haven't had Georgia as my number 1. I think I did last week. I think I did last week maybe, because they beat a really good Missouri team. Now, that's why I have them at number 1, and I just spoiled the top 4. I have Oregon at number 4. I have Florida State at number 3. Coming in number 2, I have the University of Michigan. And then coming in at number 1, I have the Georgia Dogs. And that's just right, guys. Georgia, in my opinion, they literally lost head-to-head to Washington just because you say, I reward teams for barely winning. They literally lost the game to Washington. And I get that. I do get it. Now, I get it, and I explained a lot of this earlier. So if you can, rewind. If not, just wait till it's over and rewind. But I've already explained that. I'll go back to it again, though. I'm sorry, but Oregon they're playing good football, man. They're playing the best football they played all year. Washington is not playing great football right now, okay? Let's just be completely honest with ourselves. Now, I will say this. The past 2 weeks, you've had some really good weeks. Look at the wins after Oregon. You have an Arizona State team that you should have lost to, be completely honest with you. It was a really, really, really bad pass interference call that didn't go the right way. I'm sorry. That did not go the way it should. Now, we can say, no, it can go many ways, but that's just how I'm thinking on that one. And then you bounce back the next week and you beat I believe it was Cal. You beat a Cal team by 9 points. And I'm just not rewarding teams off of that. But if you play good, and I get it, I do get it, and I get the controversy, and I get that it may or may not be right, but that's just how I kind of see things. But yeah, that's just how I'm seeing things right now. Now, number 4, I have Oregon. Number 3, I have Florida State. Number 2, I have Michigan. And number 1, I have Georgia, because Georgia's playing the best football out of anybody in the country right now. And you go out there and you proved it against a pretty decent, I won't even say pretty decent, a pretty good Ole Miss team. Now, take with that what you will, but Georgia's the number 1 team in the country right now. Now, obviously, like I said, controversial. That's okay. But I want to go down to back to my number 9 teams. I had Missouri win, or I have Missouri in the top 10. I had Missouri in the top 10. I have them at number 9. I don't have Louisville at number 9. I don't have Louisville in my top 10 because Louisville's not a top 10 team in the country. Let's just be real with ourselves. Coming in at number 9, Missouri. Now, when I talk about Missouri, Georgia has weaknesses. Yes, they do, Brian, and that is something I will get into at a later time. But when you go out and you do what you did this past weekend, I can't deny it. Tommy Griffith says, "Go Dogs, go Dogs, man! You had a heck of a game this past weekend." But Missouri, you beat a pretty good Tennessee team, and the way you beat them, it wasn't even close. You beat them like a Cherokee drunk, and it was not close. You can watch it first half. Yes, it was close. Look at the second half of that football game. Missouri dominated in every aspect. Let me talk about Cody Schrader. Cody Schrader was a Division II running back last year. He's come in and been one of the best running backs in the SEC right now. Mizzou's legit. Brian Phillips says, that's right, man. They're really, really, really freaking good, and I'm really happy to see it. I'm not the biggest fan of Eli Drinkwitz. I like his personality. Not a fan of his coaching. That's just how I am. But I have Missouri in the top 10, jumping some teams that lost. I have Oregon State coming in number 10, jumping teams that lost. Also, Oregon State's better than Louisville. Sorry, that's just the way I'm thinking. Look, Washington does look more human, by the way. And I explained that earlier. And then Oregon, let me just touch on Oregon real quick, and then I'll leave this behind me. Oregon is on fire right now. You have the brothers, Bo Nix and Tez Johnson, playing out of their minds. Now, turn on some Oregon football, man. Turn it on. Watch Bo Nix play. Watch him and Tez Johnson's connection. They're brothers, if you didn't know that, by the way. Fantastic. They're just playing some fantastic ball. They're putting up 43 points per game, and they're giving up 19 since that loss to Washington. You talk about Alabama. Alabama's become one of a better team day in and day out. Milrow's become a freaking stud. The offense is going wild, and they aren't struggling with teams like Texas is. Leave that there. They're averaging 41 points per game and giving up 23 over a 4-week span. Now, this show is brought to you by J&K Tire, AIM Mobile Detail, Chick-fil-A in Pell City, and Alex Farmer at Alabama Tractor. Great people, great guys. Let's pay the bills. Are you wanting to reset your vehicle to show room condition? Well, Tyler Meads and AIM Mobile Detail has got you covered with professional-grade ceramic coatings, paint enhancements and corrections, and full interior and exterior details. You can call Tyler Meads now at 256-458-9949. That's 256-458-9949, or message him at AIM Mobile Detail on Facebook. Hey, football fans, if you need a new lawnmower, a tractor, or an implement, then you can go by and see my friend Alex Farmer at Alabama Tractor in the South's best little town of Asheville, Alabama. Alabama Tractor specializes in Kubota brand machines and equipment, along with other brand items as well. They also have a huge parts and service department to keep your machines up and running year in and year out. You can go see Alex and check out their large inventory and ask about their 0% financing. Alabama Tractor is located at 275 6th Avenue, Asheville, Alabama. You can reach Alex at 205-594-7000. That's 205-594-7000. Check us out on Facebook at Alabama Tractor, Asheville. At Alabama Tractor, you can trust their machines and equipment to work just as hard as you do. Hey, Pell City, are you looking to spice up your morning routine? Well, you can try Chick-fil-A Spicy Chicken Biscuit. Made with a real boneless breast of chicken, seasoned with a spicy pepper blend, and served on a freshly baked buttermilk biscuit just for you. Stop by and enjoy a spicy chicken biscuit in the morning at Chick-fil-A in Pell City on Martin Street. Can we get an early SEC championship prediction? Trace McMillan, you can, my brother. You can. My SEC prediction for December the 5th, I believe. December. I could be wrong on that date. Don't quote me on it. In December, the SEC champion that wakes up on Sunday morning will be the Alabama Crimson Tide, and they'll be going to the college football playoffs, by the way. That's my hot take for the day. If you want to stick around and watch some more of the show, you can. Moving into my second segment, I want to know what in the heck is going on with Washington State. And by the way, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. You got head coach Jake Dickert, and well, I'll just let the jokes play out where it can. Jake Dickert is going through a rough time right now. He's going through the ringer, man. And I feel bad for him. I feel bad for that Washington State football team. I don't know what's going on with them, man. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I really am. You start out the year hot. Man, they're terrible right now. And I'm sorry. They're one of the worst teams in the Pac-12. Hey, Brian Phillips, I gotta bring the Gus Malzahn boom back, don't I? Boom! That's just how Gus Malzahn used to do it, man. Amen. Hopefully, Jalen Milroe shows up to play in our O-line as well. Now, Trace, that is one thing that I'm looking forward to is the offensive line holding up against that Georgia defensive line. Georgia defensive line is not what it used to be over like last year or the year before. You lose some key guys to the NFL, preferably, or really the NFL, the Philadelphia Dogs, the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what they're turning into. The Philadelphia Crimson Tide and the Philadelphia Bulldogs is what they're turning into. You got Jalen Hurts. You have Devontae Smith. You've got, on the defensive side of the football, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean. That's just how it's going, guys. I mean, I swear, before long, it's going to be the Georgia Bulldogs or the Georgia Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, whatever you want to call them. That's just going to how it's going to be over the next few years. But Arkansas looks horrendous, guys. And I'm going to talk about – this is where I'm going to start talking about head coaches and what's going to be happening with head coaches over the next few months. Arkansas looks horrendous. Is Sam Pittman and his cold beer going to be at Arkansas next year? If Sam Pittman and his cold beer will be there next year, I'll be very, very shocked. Sam Pittman is going to take his cold beer and be retired, maybe. I don't know about retired, but he definitely will be. He definitely will be without a job. I believe so, anyways. Through the next year. Now, is that going to happen? We'll see. We'll do all the speculation that we can, and we'll do all the thinking that we can over the next few weeks just to see who's going to be the next Arkansas head coach if he's fired. Who's going to be the next Mississippi State head coach? Zach Arnett is gone. Jimbo Fisher is gone. Who's going to be the next Texas A&M head coach, man? This is what I'm so excited for, and this is what the offseason is all about. It's not even the offseason yet. We've already buzzing like a bee. So I'm very excited for it. You've got Mike Elko. Now, I had a good buddy of mine, Nick Wilson, come up to me yesterday and asked me, he said, hey, man, is Mike Elko going to go to Texas A&M next week or next year? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he'd leave Duke, but money talks, and $76 million especially talks. And by the way, let's just talk about that for a minute. Texas A&M owes $76 million to Jimbo Fisher. What a life it would be right now to be a fired SEC coach. Now, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he said, man, I'd love to be an SEC head coach, just do bad for a few games, lose my job, retire. I'd have the most money in the world. You're not wrong, and you can thank James Coker for that. Also want to shout out Lance Bowman for the fantastic prediction over the past weekend. Said that he doesn't think that Georgia would go throughout the regular season with a loss. Lance, man, I didn't think so either, man. I didn't think so either. You asked me 4 weeks ago, I didn't think so. But that's just the way the sled rolls sometimes, especially when that slope is slippery. Oregon State head coach. Let's talk about him, Jonathan Smith. He's done a fantastic job over the past few years at Oregon State, at Corvallis, wherever it is up there in Oregon. He's done a fantastic job. And that Beavers team, you beat Oregon a few times in the Civil War over the past few years. That's going to get you some buzz. And especially when you're having the years like you are and your recruiting's not great, guess what? That is going to get you some eyes. And I think that Jonathan Smith should definitely be looking at that Texas A&M job and considering it if Texas A&M decides to reach out to them. Miss Reba Castleberry, I highly appreciate you. I highly, highly, highly appreciate you very much. Tell Tommy I said hello, and I will see him Thursday morning. Mr. Trace says, number 74, Caden Proctor, true freshman, is who I believe is our weakest point in the O-line. And Trace, I got to agree with you, man. He's becoming not necessarily a liability, but it's something to look out for. If he keeps playing bad, I think you have to go a different direction. And if you do, and you have a backup play a little bit better, fantastic. That's great. But if Proctor can show up and start really putting in the work, and maybe he looks good over the next few weeks, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But Jonathan Smith, I think, is something to look out for the A&M job. Now, I would suggest A&M go look for this guy. If not, that's fine. Jonathan Smith is a phenomenal head coach, in my humble opinion. I also saw something where they were looking at Dan Campbell. Maybe not looking at Dan Campbell, but I saw a little spreadsheet, and he was on the odds list up there. I don't think Dan Campbell leaves the Lions. The brand new Lions are on fire right now. I don't see Dan Campbell leaving for nothing. So I'm not hopping on that train by any means. You also have some people like Dan Mullen. Could Dan Mullen go to Texas A&M? I don't think so. Brian Harsin, where are you? I don't know. I just kind of think that Dan Mullen is kind of enjoying his time at ESPN. I don't think that he's going to come back to coaching. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. That's just kind of my thinking right now, and that is where my head is at. But if I find out something else, I will let you guys know. Now, Michigan State's another team. They don't have a head coach right now. They have an interim coach. Now, in the offseason, do they go out and hire somebody like Mike Elko from Duke? Do they go out and do they get a John Summerall from Troy? Who do they go get? I don't know. That is kind of my thinking process is, are they going to go for a smaller coach? Heck, you got Jamie Chadwell at Liberty, who's 10-0 right now. If you want to look at some of the smaller teams, the smaller head coaches out there, that's fine. By all means, go look at it. But here's what I'm looking at. Are those teams going to look at a smaller team? Because of the past, look at what happened with Boise State and Brian Harsin whenever he came over from Auburn. Didn't do too good. You look at Sunbelt Billy and Billy Napier. He's not done the best job at Florida. I get it's week 2. I want Summerall at Mississippi State. That'd be man, I'm not going to lie to you. I can't see worth the crap. That'd be a nice one. Now, Damien, I like to agree with you on that one. I'm a big fan of Coach Summerall at Troy, and I would like for him to go to Mississippi State. Damien, if you're still in the chat, tell me what you would think about Dan Mullen making a return to the SEC. Or what would you think about Rich Rodriguez possibly going to Mississippi State? That's just kind of where I'm thinking right now. I think this is going to be a fun offseason with all the coaching vacancies, and with Sam Pittman not even being fired yet, which is a miracle from heaven on Sam Pittman's part. Lance Bowman says, this guy's the freshest face in sports talk, the Hayden Coker. Hey, Lance, I appreciate you, brother, man. You can come on the show anytime. Just text me. Actually, you know what? I might text you, and that might be future target, future prospect, if you will. Lance. But yeah, Damien, I'm very excited. Everybody out there, I'm very excited for the coaching search. It's going to be taking place in the offseason at Texas A&M, at Arkansas. If that happens, if Mississippi State happens, hey, will Billy Napier be gone? I don't necessarily think Billy Napier will be gone, but it's possible. Who knows? I don't know. People have a high expectation. Damien says, heck no, Mullen. Rich Rod would be interesting. Yes, Damien, I do agree. That is something that I've kind of looked at over the past few days. Will Rich Rod leave Jack State if they finish with 8 wins or more, possibly even 9 wins? You just got to get to one more. I personally don't see Rich Rod being there at Jacksonville State for any longer than the rest of the season. I just don't. Now, how's Jacksonville State going to be next year? Well, guess what? If Rich Rod leaves, you got people leaving, you got players leaving, you got recruits decommitting. I don't know if that happens. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but we'll see. Who's going to be the Jack State head coach after the year? Because I sure don't think it's going to be Rich Rodriguez. Bill Clark, maybe. We'll look at that. We'll see. I'm just speculating and throwing names out there. I don't know anything, but that's just how the sun rolls, man. That's how I'm going to do. I'm going to speculate until I can't speculate anymore. I'm going to ride that highway until it gets to some guardrails. So that's just how I feel about that one. And another name to look out for, like I said earlier, you have Mike Elko. Look, watch out is he going to stay at Duke to the end of the year? I think he stays to the end of the year. But is he going to stay next year? Is he going to be there next year? We'll see. And I'm very excited for it. And let me tell you how to spice up your morning. You can spice up your morning at the Chick-fil-A in Pell City. If you're looking to spice up your morning routine, you can try a Chick-fil-A spicy chicken biscuit made with real boneless breast of chicken, seasoned with a spicy pepper blend, and served on a freshly baked buttermilk biscuit just for you. You can stop by and enjoy a spicy chicken biscuit in the morning at the Chick-fil-A in Pell City on Martin Street. Hey, football fans, if you need a lawnmower, a tractor, or an implement, then you can go see my good friend Alex Farmer at Alabama Tractor in the South's best little city of Asheville, Alabama. Alabama Tractor specializes in Kubota brand machines and equipment along with other brand items as well. They also have a huge parts and service department to keep your machines up and running year in and year out. You can go see Alex and check out their 0% financing. Alabama Tractor is located at 275 6th Avenue, Asheville, Alabama. You can reach Alex at 205-594-7000. That's 205-594-7000. You can check us out on Facebook at Alabama Tractor Asheville. At Alabama Tractor, you can trust their machines and equipment to work just as hard as you do. Are you wanting to reset your vehicle to show room condition? Well, Tyler Meads at AIM Mobile Detail has got you covered with professional-grade ceramic coatings, paint enhancements and corrections, and full exterior and interior details. You can call Tyler Meads now at 256-458-9949 or message AIM Mobile Detail on Facebook. Thank you to all my sponsors at J&K Tire, at AIM Mobile Detail, at, guess what, Alabama Tractor, and Alex Farmer. Thank you, Alex Farmer. Thank you, Tyler Meads. Thank you, J&K Tire. I highly appreciate all of you guys for sponsoring the show. You guys are fantastic. Let's talk a little bit of high school football, Damien. If so, 4A and 5A predictions. Now, that's not Damien, that's Trace. I'm sorry. Any high school football talk tonight? Now, Trace, I am not necessarily the most tuned in when it comes to high school football, but it's a playoffs, and I know I should be. I will get those scores up in just a second, and I will get the games up in just a second and the schedules. But first, I want to touch on the Coker 4-pack because I'm hoping that you guys are excited about the Coker 4-pack just as much as I am. Now, I like to bring the Coker 4-pack to you each and every weekend, starting 2 weeks ago. The first week, I went 3-1. Last week, I went 4-0. Maybe I should start betting. I don't necessarily think so. Nelson Holt says 6A Clay all the way. Now, Nelson, Clay Chalkville is fantastic this year. I would love for you to put some more information in the comments if you don't mind, because I don't necessarily know that much about Clay Chalkville. I believe it's Mario. I can't remember his last name. Wide receiver. He's got some Division offers, but his first name's Mario. He's a wide receiver. I can't remember his last name, but Nielsen, if you would like to give me that real quick, that would be fantastic. Trace McMillan, I'm going to go ahead and touch on some high school football for you real quick. And these are the two games that I have got so far. Well, if I can get it pulled up here. Springwood and Cornerstone, I'm not too familiar with those teams, but let me try and find one that I can. We'll try Friday. Let's see if we have any teams for Friday. Leeds and Ramsey, that'll be a fun one. Now, Ramsey is one of the teams that's favored to win, or one of the 2 or 3 teams that's favored to win. Is it 5A, 6A? I think it's 5A. Yeah, 5A. Leeds is one of the Leeds and Ramsey, both really good teams, but Ramsey, I believe, is one of the teams that favored to win 5A. I think Ramsey wins. I mean, I don't know. I know that Moody also has a game this week. You have Pickens County playing Winterboro. That's a smaller classification. You got Oxford and Parker playing. I think Parker probably takes that one. I want Moody to win 5A. Trace, I'm assuming you're from Moody then. If not, correct me. But that would be nice as well. If Moody can win, that's a St. Clair County dub. Now, I know a lot of people has some problems with Moody and them claiming the region championship or whatever with the share of it. And I know a good buddy of mine, Brian Phillips, is. I don't want to say any names, Brian Phillips. But I know some people aren't too happy about them claiming the region championship when it was a split. You got John Carroll playing Gunnersville. That'll be a fun one. I think that Gunnersville actually wins that game. Parker and Oxford, I think that Parker wins. Thornsby and Reeltown, I'll go with Reeltown. Moody and Russellville, that's going to be a fun game. I might just try to make it down to that game from Asheville, but girlfriend lives there. Hey, man, sometimes the girlfriend overrule, and I get what you're saying. So don't worry, Mr. Trace. I get what you're saying. Sometimes the girlfriends overrule, and we have to think what they think. But I wouldn't know because I don't have one. But anyway, I'm going to go cry real quick. Anyways, here's my thing. Moody is at a fantastic year. You go toe-to-toe with a 6A Pell City team that was actually not bad this past year. And I really want to know how Pell City's going to do next year. Rush Probst at the helm. You got quarterback Nikita Getmanshuk. He's going to be well improved next year as well. I'm very excited for that team next year. But I think that Moody is probably going to get it done this upcoming weekend. Like I said, I don't know much about college football or high school football. I like to think I know a little bit about college football anyways. Don't quote me on that. But I think that Moody wins. I really do. I think that Moody wins. I think that I think that Bibb County loses to Jacksonville. Maybe Jacksonville pulls off the upset. Maybe they do. We'll see. But yeah, that's pretty much. And Damien, you'll like this one. Maplesville playing Sweetwater. You know what, Damien? I'm going to pick Sweetwater. Damien. Sweetwater is going to knock off the Maplesville Devils. I don't know what their mascot is. But Vestavia Hills plays Thompson. Thompson's probably going to win that game. If not, maybe Vestavia Hills can pull off an upset, but I don't see it happening. I think that Thompson is going to come away with a win. You got T.R. Miller playing Montgomery Catholic. Montgomery Catholic is a little bit too good. I'm going to go with them. Madison Academy playing Mars Hill Bible. That'll be a fun one. St. James playing Rudolph. Playing Randolph. I'm thinking about Santa Claus here. But Flomaton, they play a TBA from what I'm seeing. Thomasville, Millry, Mobile Christian. I'm looking for, here we go, Saraland and Briarwood. I believe that Saraland is probably going to win that game. Saraland is absolutely fantastic this year. Them and Clay Chalkville, the two top teams in 6A. That'll be a fun game. Then you have Priceville and Brooks. Brooks knocked off Aniana this past weekend. Fluff Bothwell, I'm so sorry, brother. I wish you the best in your future at South Alabama, Mr. Fluff. But last weekend, obviously went to Brooks. I hate that for them. Gulf Shores, the cheaters. Some people would say, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not calling them cheaters. I was just a joke. But Gulf Shores got popped with some AHSA. I need some water, guys. I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. The AHSAA. They got popped. Okay, let's just go ahead and be real. Let's go ahead and acknowledge it. They got popped. Are they going to win this upcoming weekend? Possibly. You got Charles Henderson, who is 8-3 on the year, and Gulf Shores is 11-0 on the year. And believe Ronnie Royal plays for Gulf Shores. Could be wrong on that one, but I don't know. I think I am probably wrong on that one. Then you got Saraland and Briarwood Christian. I'm going with Saraland. Trace, I appreciate you for sticking around for my high school football talk. Not that there was too much to talk about because I'm uneducated, but I'm an uneducated dude when it comes to high school football. I know a little bit about it. I know the head coaches. I know some of the good players. I feel like Gulf Shores shouldn't even be playing, says Trace. Yeah, now that's I can see where you're coming from because you have the violations. I didn't even think they were in the playoffs because of the violations, but that's just something that's going to happen. You have violations that, like with Michigan this year, you have the NCAA violations with Connor Stallions and sign stealing. What's happening there? They're still allowed to play in the playoffs, but like I said, we're letting the investigation play out. Now I think with Gulf Shores, they actually got popped and they got caught paying for. I don't want to speak on anybody's wrong, but this is what I read was that they had gotten caught paying leases or something. Now, don't take my word for that, but that's just what I saw. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not going to quote anybody because I don't want anybody to be wrong in that situation. But that's what I'm pretty sure I read. Now, maybe not. Gulf Shores, don't come after me. You could be totally innocent. I do not know. I believe it was paying for houses. Trace, gotcha, man, gotcha. Now, I'm reading comments. I cannot be sued for libel, okay? Do not sue me. Trace, they're suing you. They're not suing me. They're going to sue you for libel because you're talking bad on their name, man. What if it's false? No, I'm just messing with you. But anyways, like I said, I don't know too much about that whole situation. Now, maybe there's some light to it. Come after me, says Trace. Hey, man, Trace, I'm hoping you have some money because the AS. Oh, no. I just can't pronounce AHSAA. I'm never going to be able to. NCAA rolls off my tongue a little bit faster. AHSAA. That just doesn't. It just doesn't. And that's how it's going to be, I think, for the remaining of the year and for the rest of my lifetime. I'm going to have to get better at that. Heck, I'm going into sports broadcasting. I got to get better at that. My voice stinks. I can't be doing that. But yeah, now I want to get into my Coker 4-pack. That was my high school football talk. I hope that everybody enjoyed that. Me talking about literally nothing that I know about. I know nothing about it. Do not take my advice. Do not bet on a high school football game. I'm talking to some of my bettors out there. I know you guys like to bet. Don't do it. Don't you bet on a high school football game. Don't do it. I know some folks who have done that, and it has not gone their way. One, you lose money. Two, it's just not right, man. Don't bet on no high school football. They're kids, man. Do that to the college football players, man. Do that to them. They're being paid to play NIL. Obviously, I'm joking. Don't do that either. Especially in Alabama, it's illegal. But now the Coker 4-pack brought to you by whoever wants to sponsor the Coker 4-pack. You can reach out to me. I'm going with Arizona +1. They've got Utah at home. I think that Arizona upsets a Utah team that is struggling right now. You have a Bryson Barnes, the pig farmer, if you will, who is, let's just say not the most incorporated to run a Division I or Pac-12 Utah team. They're maybe not necessarily equipped to play that position right now. I don't think he's ready yet. But I just think that Utah's struggling right now, and Arizona's on fire. You have a win against a struggling Colorado team this past weekend. You beat them by 3. I'm not saying it was a great win, but you go into Colorado and do what you did. I'm going with Arizona. They're on fire right now. Can they get stuff done the rest of the year? Can they finish the year undefeated? We will see. I have not looked at their schedule. I don't know who they have the rest of the year, but this Arizona team's very, very good. I think his name is Noah Fafita, the quarterback for Arizona. I don't want to butcher his last name. You got Justin Flo on the defensive side of the football who's playing well. He committed to Oregon, went to Oregon after high school, transferred. Now he's at Arizona, and he's playing pretty good football. Now, I have my next one is Clemson is -7.5 versus UNC at home. I'm going with the Clemson Tigers. The Clemson Tigers get it done at home. I don't think that UNC is going to. I don't see UNC coming out of Death Valley, the fake Death Valley, by the way. I don't see them coming out of the fake Death Valley with a win. They're just not going to. I'm sorry, Gene Chizik. Great dude. Great dude. I'm sorry. I don't think that North Carolina wins this next weekend, this upcoming weekend. Going with Clemson. Now, plus 7.5, you have Kansas versus Kansas State. Does Kansas win? No, but Kansas does cover, my friend. Kansas will cover this game. They have their backup quarterback coming this past weekend. Forgot his name, number 15, Chase something. I apologize for not being professional that I forgot his name. But I'm going with Kansas, and I think Kansas wins. I think Kansas covers. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Kansas does not win, but they do cover, and Kansas State gets a win in Lawrence, Kansas, that is. Now, my final game. Notice I do not have any SEC teams going on or in my 4-pack this weekend. That's because I decided to stay away from them. The games that I thought might best suit me to go after were Oregon State +1 versus Washington at home. Oregon State's going to get the job done this coming weekend and strengthen their chances possibly for a college football playoff berth. Does it happen? I don't think so. But it's not up to me, guys. It's up to the college football playoff. Now, I know the only one that matters up until Selection Day is the Hayden Coker Show, Top 25. It's the only one that matters, man. It's the only one that's ever going to matter in my eyes, in everybody's eyes. The Hayden Coker Show, Top 25. That's the most important top 25 there is out there. Let's just be honest with ourselves. But I'm going with Oregon State. I think Oregon State gets the upset this weekend, and they're playing at home. That's going to be a big advantage, and Washington is going to struggle. Michael Penix is going to struggle, and Oregon State's going to come out of that game. They're going to wake up Sunday morning, winner, chicken dinner, and they're going to prove, and they're only going to have one loss on the season. Keep that in mind for the college football playoff. Oh, man, it's going to be a fun one. Am I going 4-0 this week again? I'm 7-1 on the season when it comes to Coker 4-pack. We will see. We will see. I think I'm doing a whole lot better than Stanford Steve is doing at College Game Day, but I do have to appreciate what Stanford Steve is doing because that is awesome and that's fantastic. Speaking of the guys at College Game Day, you've got Pat McAfee. You've got Desmond Howard. I'm going to move it out. Pat McAfee's book. Pat McAfee. What? Desmond Howard. What? You've got Kirk Herbstreit. Lee Corso. What? Reese Davis, what? It's just a good show. I love watching it every Saturday morning, and I am appreciative for everybody out there taking time out of their day to watch my nonsense, to listen, to watch wherever you may do it, wherever you may be doing that from. I'm so appreciative of y'all watching and listening, and it just can't get much better, guys. This is a Hayden Coach, best sports show on the planet. I've heard that is a proven fact. That's a proven fact. Best sports show on the planet. That's just how it is, guys. I check the statistics; they're there. Look up best sports show on planet Earth. If the website doesn't pop up that I'm talking about, just don't even do it. Just don't even deal with it because what I'm speaking is straight facts. Are you wanting to reset your vehicle and show room condition? Well, Tyler Meads at AIM Mobile Detail has got you covered with professional-grade ceramic coatings, paint enhancements and corrections, and full interior and exterior details. You can call Tyler Meads now at 256-458-9949 or message AIM Mobile Detail on Facebook. Hey, football fans, are you in need of a lawnmower, a tractor, or an implement? Well, you can go see my good friend Alex Farmer at Alabama Tractor in the South's best little city of Asheville, Alabama. Alabama Tractor specializes in Kubota brand machines and equipment along with other brand items as well. They also have a huge parts and service department to keep your machines up and running year in and year out. You can go see Alex and check out their large inventory and ask about their 0% financing. Alabama Tractor is located at 275 6th Avenue, Asheville, Alabama, and you can reach Alex at 205-594-7000. That's 205-594-7000, and you can check us out on Facebook at Alabama Tractor, Asheville. At Alabama Tractor, you can trust their machines and equipment to work just as hard as you do. Hey, Pale City, are you looking to spice up your morning routine? Well, guess what? You can try the Chick-fil-A Spicy Chicken Biscuit made with a real boneless breast of chicken, seasoned with a spicy pepper blend, and served on a freshly baked buttermilk biscuit. Just for you. Stop by and enjoy Spicy Chicken Biscuit in the morning. You can go down to Martin Street in Pell City and check out the Chick-fil-A in Pell City on Martin Street. And that's all there is to it, guys. That is all there is to it. Now I'm going to get in my picks for the week. But first off, I want to talk about the NFL for a little bit because if you have been watching C.J. Stroud play lately, you know that he is an absolute dog, man. And I don't mean to put that lightly because C.J. Stroud is an absolute dog. C.J. Stroud played fantastic over the past weekend. You played a flaming hot Joe Burrow Bengals team. Has been fantastic for the last few games. I believe they are 5-5 now. Don't quote me, or maybe it's 4. I don't know. Anyways, C.J. Stroud played fantastic over the weekend, and he is being mentioned in the MVP race. Now, I get it is still early in the season. We are just to the halfway point in the NFL season. But guess what? C.J. Stroud is playing out of his mind right now. Can he join the only rookie ever to win the MVP in Jim Brown, who is a running back for my Cleveland Browns? Can he join him? Can he not? We'll see. It's going to be a long shot because, like I said, it's just the beginning. It's just the midseason. We're just in the midseason point. But C.J. Stroud is playing out of his mind and is by far the best quarterback in the 2023 NFL draft. I know Alabama fans don't necessarily want to hear that because Bryce Young was phenomenal at Alabama. I think he can be phenomenal, and he will be phenomenal if he gets the right pieces around him and if the Panthers GM goes out and makes some moves and makes some trades, drafts the right wide receivers, gets a good offensive line, gets a decent running back out there. You got Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders right now, who's not bad. But if you build around Bryce Young, this Bryce Young guy can be fantastic in the future. But for now, C.J. Stroud's the best quarterback in that 2023 NFL draft class, and that's just all there is to it. Like I said, can he join Jim Brown as the only rookie ever to win the MVP? Can he do it? And just guess who Jim Brown played for? The Cleveland Browns. My guys, the Cleveland Browns, the good guys. Can he join them? Craig Cameron. You won't like this, but I cannot stand them Steelers. The Steelers. I don't like them. The Cleveland Browns are going to whoop them this Sunday at 12 o'clock on CBS. The Browns are going to beat the Steelers. You heard it here first. I'm off on my rambling. You have a big matchup coming up Thursday in a big not NFC. You have a big AFC matchup coming up. You have the Cincinnati Bengals playing, and you also have the Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens playing. Lily Osborne, if you're listening out there, I hope your Bengals win, man. I hope they win because I don't like the Ravens. I don't like the Ravens. I don't like them at all. I hope the Bengals win. I hope they get it done. Will they do it? I don't know. That Joe Burrow team's good, but that Lamar Jackson and his Ravens squad, he is fantastic right now. He's playing a really good brand of football. You've got Zay Flowers playing really good right now. You've got Gus Edwards coming in to play backup running back. He's playing really well. Coming in to play starter, he's playing really good. It's going to be interesting to see, guys. And I'm very excited about the NFL. If you would like for me to talk a little bit more about the NFL, comment below in this video, and I will have a whole breakdown on that, and I will upload a video or upload a episode of the podcast later on in the week if you guys do want to hear some more about the NFL. If not, that's okay too. But go ahead and comment down below if you want some NFL content, if you want some college football content, some extended college football content on the podcast page. Just let me know because guess what? I'm going to do it for you if you want it. If not, that's fine. But if you do, let me know down in the comments below, and I will get that started. Guys, we stream on Facebook, we stream on YouTube, and we stream on Twitter every Monday night at 6. And guess what? We're not done yet because we're getting into the Hayden Coker Show Pick'em. And I'm very excited to have all of you watching, listening, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, whether you're in your car, whether you're at home cooking supper, whether you're eating a thing of donuts, whether you're eating some donuts, some cookies, if you're drinking a beer, if you're drinking some Dr. Pepper, if you're drinking water, whatever you're doing right now, I'm highly appreciative of you and you watching. Thank you to everybody watching. Here we go, jumping into the pick'em for the Hayden Coker Show. Week 12. Our first game up, we have Louisville at Miami. Miami with a close game. They lost this past weekend. Tyler Van Dyke did not play that great this past weekend. And you lose to a Florida State team that is undefeated and number 3 in the Hayden Coker Show playoff poll right now. So if you guys want some advice this weekend, if you just so happen to bet on this game, bet Miami. Miami is going to have Louisville. Obviously, they're going to have Louisville and Jack Plummer in their stadium. But guess what? The Miami Hurricanes are going to come out with a W. They are. The Miami Hurricanes are going to beat Louisville, hand them their first loss, and in Louisville's hope for a college football playoff. Not that they were going to make it anyways because their schedule sucks. But it's Miami. Miami's going to beat Louisville this upcoming weekend. If you don't believe me, that's fine. That is okay because you don't have to believe me. You don't have to agree with me. But that is my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Miami's going to beat Louisville this weekend and send them packing back to Kentucky. Georgia at Tennessee. Now, this is a game that's been talked about since the beginning of the year because these guys are huge rivals. And Tennessee, nobody likes Tennessee in Alabama. I'm very convinced that. Chris Yale, good buddy of mine, who is a Tennessee fan, I'd like to know what you think about that game this upcoming weekend, Chris, after Tennessee lost to Missouri. Does Tennessee host Georgia this weekend and beat them? No. It would be silly of me to pick Tennessee after Georgia just absolutely annihilated a Lane Kiffin-led Ole Miss offense. Like, I can't remember the score, 52-17 maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. But they absolutely annihilated them. And when I mean annihilated, they went out there and they gave Ole Miss the business. First half, close game. Good first half. Great first half. Ole Miss had the iced out white uniforms, all white. Fantastic looking uniforms, by the way. But they're not able to get it done, and Georgia dominated that game, ladies and gentlemen. And when Georgia goes to Tennessee this weekend, they're going to absolutely dominate this Tennessee Vols team. And I know that it's not a thing like it is for Alabama and Tennessee. Whoever wins, they smoke them if they got them. Well, Georgia, if you got them this weekend, smoke them if you got them, baby. Because Georgia is winning this game by at least 20 points this weekend. No, maybe not 20 points, but at least 14 points, at least 2 scores. And Georgia is going to improve their record and continue to be undefeated going into their game the following weekend against Georgia Tech. Lance Bowman says, nobody's going to beat Georgia. Lance, man, your mind changed this past weekend. Your mind changed. Everybody who listened to the podcast knows that Lance said that Georgia was going to lose before they got the SEC championship game. Now, Lance, man, Lance, now you can comment below, Lance, does Alabama beat Georgia in this SEC championship game? Moving on, Georgia's going to beat Tennessee by 14 points at least. Now, coming up, we have Florida and Missouri playing on Saturday. They play at Missouri, by the way. Do you think I'm going to go against a Missouri team that just beat the absolute dog crap out of a helpless Tennessee team? That they looked helpless on Saturday, man. Do you think I'm going to pick against the Mizzou team and Harrison Mevis, the thick kicker? Do you think I'm going to pick against that Missouri team? No, I'm not going to. I'm a huge Harrison Mevis fan. And you look at what Cody Schrader's doing this year, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely balling out, man. And I'm not picking against them. I'm not picking against them because, one, you have Brady Cook. Two, you have none other than Luther Burden III, who is playing out of his mind. He was injured during the Tennessee game, injured the past few weeks, not had the greatest few weeks, but guys, he's still Luther Burden. He's injured. Once he's back healthy and fully healthy, that man is going to be an absolute demon on the field. He's going in demon mode, man. Missouri's going to win this weekend. They're going to win convincingly. And that defense is going to dominate that Florida offense. You know why? Because the Florida offense is terrible on the road. Absolutely terrible. The Florida team as a whole is terrible on the road. That Florida team lost by 30 points to a terrible Kentucky team earlier on in the year when we thought that Florida was going to come out there and be really doggone good against that Kentucky team. No, that Florida team stinks. And they showed it this past weekend was it this past weekend? No, I'm sorry. The weekend before when they lost to an Arkansas team. Guess what? You don't do good this past weekend either. So, yeah, the Florida's just not good. I'm not going to go on too big of a rant because that's just not a good football team. Lance Bowman says, I think Bama has a shot. Georgia flexed on Ole Miss. Lance, you're correct, my friend, and I'm raising my voice. You know why? Because our next game is Texas at Iowa State. As they say in I believe it's the Heineken commercial, stay thirsty, my friends. I'm staying thirsty, and I'm staying hydrated with some water that I got in my little black flask over here. But, yeah, man, I'm very excited for this weekend's games. Next up, we have Texas and Iowa State. I was just about to put this game in my Coker 4-pack, but I have confidence in these other games more than I do Iowa State and Texas. But I would like to tell you, Texas goes down on Saturday night at 7:30 on ESPN. Texas goes down. You go to Iowa State. You do not come back unscathed. That Steve Sarkisian team is struggling right now, and I'm going with Iowa State. Iowa State wins, and they knock Texas out of the college football playoff race, and that opens the door for the Alabama Crimson Tide to just continue to make noise. Iowa State wins, Texas loses, and that is just how it's going to go this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hayden Coker Show brought to you by J&K Tire in Steele, Alabama. You can go down to J&K Tire in Steele and mention the Hayden Coker Show, and you can get $10 off of your next purchase. Now, Hey, why are you screaming into a microphone that's not even working right now? Well, guess what? I'm pumped. I'm excited. We had a heck of a show, and I cannot wait to see you guys next Monday night at 6 o'clock. We're going to have an even bigger show. We've got a guest, maybe. I don't know. We'll talk about it later on, and I'm yelling. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm going to keep my inside voice now. Adam, I don't want to wake up Adam. He's not here, but you think that he sleeps here. Adam Stocks, and that is. Now, thank you for watching. I am so sorry for screaming in your ears for an hour. An hour and 5 minutes. That is our longest show this year. If you like the show, leave a like. Review it in the comments. You can go to Twitter. You can view the show. You can go to Facebook Live. You can view the show. You can replay this show if you want to and listen to this beautiful voice and beautiful face again. I know it's pretty, man, but just tone it down a little bit. Or you can listen on YouTube Live. And, well, it won't be YouTube Live after I'm done, but you can listen on YouTube as well. You can follow the Hayden Coker Show on YouTube. It is in my Facebook. The link is in my Facebook bio. You can go down there. You can look for it. You can see my links down there. Follow me on Twitter at Hayden J. Coker. Catch a lot of sports content on there. I go crazy about my NFL, my Browns. I go crazy about my Browns. I go crazy about the Auburn Tigers. Well, actually, I haven't been doing that this year for good reason, but that Auburn Tigers team is on fire. So we'll get to that at a later date. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. This has been the Hayden Coker Show, presented to you by Jaden K. Tire. I will see you guys next week, and be sure to bring that same energy, because next week is going to be a fantastic show, and I cannot wait to see you guys. Lance Bowman, thank you for tuning in. Damian Mitchell, Trace McMillan, Brian Phillips, everybody out there who tuned in, Riverday Castleberry, anybody else who wants to tune in next week, I will be happy to have you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all go eat supper, drink you a beer, drink you a Dr. Pepper.